Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe. I am Brian Resner. I'm here with Stephen P. New, and we have a very special guest. Mr. Brian Myers has joined us here in the house. Welcome to the House of Kayfabe.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
So we are just completely enthralled with the fact that we were going to have Brian Myers on the show today. I just found out a little late because Stephen P. New doesn't fill me in as quickly as he should on things. But nevertheless, we are so glad to have you here, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. But one of the things that we are definitely going to talk about is this weekend, Stephen P. New is involved with the Bash in Beckley, and he is bringing Brian Myers. And from what I understand, you are tagging with a good friend of mine, Mr. Shane Douglas.
Yeah, legit boyhood dream come true for me. Bash in Beckley 2. I mean, not to mention that it's a mega show. I did it last year. It's a destination booking for me now, for sure. And I think any professional wrestler that partakes in this event will feel the same way. But for me personally, I get to tag with the franchise Shane Douglas, and we're being escorted down to the ring by the beautiful, the legendary Francine. I mean, that's like a pinch me moment for me, you know? So,
that's where me and you really connect, because I am a huge ECW guy too. Always been an ECW guy. I was like a part of the tape back in the day, the tape trade scene. We were very involved in that. So I definitely can connect with you on the ECW level. Shane Douglas, for me, I met Shane Douglas a long time ago and actually ended up getting to do a podcast with him. And it was like a dream come true for me. I can only imagine what it's like for you.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy ones, man. I've had a very blessed career, been very fortunate. And the bucket list stuff is kind of few and far between. I'm almost, heading into my 19th year of doing this. So
You've done it all.
To do things that I haven't done yet is pretty interesting. And when I got let go during the pandemic 2 years ago, I definitely did an interview or said it somewhere where someone said, "What's something you would like to do?" And I said, "I would love to wrestle Shane Douglas." And Gary Damron messaged me, got my number somehow, like a creep, but I appreciate it. And which normally would be a red flag for me, but he said all the right things, and he said, "Hey, I can make that happen." And he was true to his word. We've had a incredible relationship ever since. So I trust in Gary, and I believe in Gary's product, and he's one of the good ones, And in the wrestling business, there's not too many good promoters out there, but Gary is, and Stephen P. New. I love coming to West Virginia, and since then I've wrestled Shane. We've tagged together, and now this is another time we're tagging. I even got matching goddamn gear made for this show, so I can tag with Shane and do it professionally. You know what I mean? Most professional wrestlers got to be a professional. Am I right?
That's what he wants to do, Brian Resner, right there. That's what Brian Myers, as a boy, wants to do with that black and gold and Francine in the corner. He wants to feel like he's part of the triple threat. Like he's
don't get me wrong, man. I'm walking down that aisle. I'm Chris Candido in my head this Saturday night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally joined by Adam Harris, who was supposed to be here for the beginning of this interview, but he was not. But now he is here, and I'm sure he's extremely excited to talk to you as well, Mr. Myers.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, man. How are you?
Good to see you. Looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, man. Gonna be fun.
One thing that we were talking about while we were waiting on you to log on to the Zoom call here was that how incredible it is that you spent so many years on a national platform with national TV coverage and an entire team of writers that were writing for you to get you over. And it took you getting fired to get yourself over to levels WWE could never accomplish. And I have to just say that for you and Matt Cardona, like, wow, like you beat the machine. You're like the John Henry of wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, that's a loaded statement. But I appreciate you pointing that out. Yeah, there's so much to that, right? Let's I always use a baseball analogy. I'm a huge Mets fan. I'm the best hitter on the Mets lineup. I'm playing every day. The coach is putting me in no matter what goes on. Wrestling doesn't always work like that, So it can be very frustrating. But then again, it's your passion. So, you kind of, you stick with it, the good and the bad, you ride the highs and the lows, and because you love it so much, those highs are so high and those lows are so low. But getting let go is an unbelievable blessing in disguise, and the success of our podcast, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. I do feel like Matt and I have like a cheat code to the business, you know what I mean? Because we have that, and the rest is just like, bonus after that, you know what I mean?
No, I'd like to respectfully disagree with you if I can. What it seems as an outsider in at yours and Matt's situation is that you guys did and do what a lot of people, quite frankly, don't have the guts to do, and that is you bet on yourselves. You took something that you guys knew, loved, bet on yourselves, and both you guys are legit. Like, this is like old school, rewind the clock 25, 30 years. They always say that the greatest wrestling superstars of all time are just who they are on 11.
Mm-hmm.
Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold. It's who they are on 11. So as an outsider looking at you and Matt, it appears to me, as a guy who doesn't hang with you guys all the time, I see you at our shows, and I love being around you guys. It seems like you guys bet on yourselves, when the machine, the corporate structure, the publicly traded corporation said, we're not going to bet on these guys. You said, we're going to bet on ourselves. We're going to take something we know, which is cards and figures and things like that. And for in-ring personas, we're going to be who we are on 11. And it's worked. It's worked out fantastic. And I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier for you guys.
Thank you, man. I mean, and a lot of it to me is just that positive mental attitude. You know what I mean? That mindset. We were in WWE so long, and we saw so many of our colleagues get let go, and we just knew sitting around feeling sorry for yourself accomplishes nothing. And that's in life, that's in wrestling. You gotta keep going. You gotta roll with the punches. Learn from the mistakes and move the fuck on. You know what I mean? And that's what we did, and we're having so much fun. That, just like I said, I live a very blessed life these days, man. It's pretty crazy.
You know what I love is that you made it cool for grown ass men who have doll collections to be okay. I mean, we're accepted again. It's great.
That's a compliment I will accept. Thank you. Another analogy I use all the time: 40-Year-Old Virgin, smash hit movie, right? I believe that comes out in 2005, so 15 something years ago. The premise of that movie is that this guy is unfuckable because he collects toys.
Right.
We have flipped that narrative on its head, man. I mean, we have people, making money, collecting, making it cool. Like, and that's something that, honestly, Matt and I, we were kids. We broke into the business. We're in the WWE roster at 22 years old with men, and we're collecting figures, but we hit it. We were in our figure closets, so to speak. We weren't going to just, sit there in the locker room next to Bob Holly and tell him about the friggin' Jax figure we just bought. I mean, it was our little secret that we kept to ourselves. And I'm so proud that we I would assume that, the average person sees us, they're like, oh, wow, these big, tough, scary wrestlers. And if you listen to our show for 2 minutes, you're going to be like, what on earth? Because Matt and I just air it all out there. Complete nerddom, complete openness about our collections and what we were into and why we did something and what we got. And that's something I'm very proud of, that like people don't have to hide that anymore.
To make a transition from being a fan, in my case, to being someone who talked to people backstage and actually get to be in that world when you're not in that world. One thing that I hated about becoming someone who got to go past that wall is learning that wrestlers start hating wrestling. And they don't watch. They damn sure aren't collecting figures. They don't participate in fandom. And to me, like, if I would have became a professional wrestler, I could have never let go of my fandom. And it's great to see two wrestlers but two wrestlers who who were really burned by the WWE in a lot of ways. You never lost your fandom. Ever.
Yeah, and
it was always there.
I get it. I understand that dudes get burnt out, and like the business, like I said, you ride the highs and the lows, and it's sometimes they're pretty epic. But a thing about the podcast that's great is like it's just a constant reminder of why did we start this crazy journey in the first place? Because we were 5-year-old kids obsessed with Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and these WWF Hasbro figures. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So every week I'm getting this constant reminder, this sentimental reason why I started this crazy, lifestyle that I've lived, so that's like a weird kind of perk of the job.
Right. And I love it that you never let it go, and you never let wrestling just desensitize you to being a fan.
To me, to be involved in the wrestling business is such a unique, awesome thing, and I don't think anyone should ever take it for granted. And like you said, if you hate the business, like you could do anything else. Wrestling is so hard and so taxing on your body and the travel and being away from your family. If you don't love it,
right,
why on earth would you do it? That doesn't makes no sense to me. So yeah, you gotta love it.
Yeah, I would say so. And you're 37 now, right?
Yes, just turned 37.
So you just turned 37. I am about to turn 40. We kind of grew up in the same realm of figures. So when you kind of, in a way, represent me as a human being just in the wrestling world. And I love that.
Cool. Nice.
That part.
Nice.
So what do you think about coming to Beckley this weekend? What exactly is going to go down, Mr. Myers?
I mean, it's a milestone career moment for me. Like I said, to be out there with Francine and Shane, it's something that, geez, at one point I could have ever imagined would happen to me. And like I said, I did it last year. I know what I'm getting into. I know this is not an indie show. This is like a big, real deal professional wrestling show at an arena that's going to be slammed with fans. Obviously.
All right, hey Myers, go ahead and put us over. Talk about how nice the locker rooms are. We got catering for you before the show. It looks like the freaking Norfolk Scope.
Yes.
And it really is. And on behalf of Gary and myself, I take a lot of pride in the fact what you just said, that this isn't an indie show. And, no offense, God bless them. The guys, 75 guys in folding chairs around the ring and, a high school somewhere, everybody's got to have, whatever it is, God bless them. Something Gary and I wanted to do. We wanted to elevate all-star wrestling. This is like our WrestleMania. And I told Gary when we were planning the one last year, I was like, I'll be damned if we have Bash in Beckley in my hometown and I'm the title sponsor. We're doing this the right way. We're going to be top shelf. The guys are all going to feel like, hey, this is a thing. And here's the thing. As going back to wrestling fandom, ICW, Randy Savage and Ronnie Garvin ran that building. Crockett Promotions, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, when it became WCW, they ran there. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, this was one of their areas, and Jim had WOAY on Channel 4. And as Rez pointed out last night, we were talking TNA and Impact have run the what used to be called the Armory, and we had National Guard there,
and Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Really?
Well, yes, I brought Juggalo Championship Wrestling there.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
Hey, listen, Brian Myers is an ECW guy. He likes JCW, so
I know.
Get over it.
I wouldn't go that
my,
far, but that's interesting fact there.
Back to my original point, there's a lot of history in this building. So I want guys like and FTR and others who may not know just how much great wrestling has gone on there. I want you guys to know that you're in one of those places where there have been a lot of great names through the years that have
And-
come right through that
And it's
building.
one of those places that doesn't need to be said. You walk in, you know that. It's got that feel, right?
I watched the
Yeah.
Heavenly Bodies go against the Rock and Roll Express in that building. I think I was 9 years old. So
Wow.
I did too, man. And we're all about the same age, man. That period where Jericho was working his first United States dates, I saw him. It was after that night when he cut himself open at the Beckley Raleigh County Armory, at
Really?
Mountain Wrestling. Yeah, I was there.
and no one knew who he was.
Nobody.
Wow.
And I even have a Thrill Seekers auto, and I think it's stashed away at my mom's house still. I still haven't been able to locate it, but that's one of my favorite.
Well, I'm
memories.
old enough to take it back to Randy Savage
That's
and
right.
Lanny
Yep, that's
Poffo and Crusher Broomfield and Ronnie Garvin and Pez Watley selling this joint out.
But it's
You know,
extra
what the-
special because of that. It's because of all those connections. And for you now, what's it like to step in against with franchise as your tag partner against Heath and Rhino?
So you totally missed that part of the interview, but you can go ahead and.
Did I already?
Well, we can. I'm glad you brought up Heath and Rhino, who are our opponents, who we haven't mentioned once yet. But the hometown boy, home state
That's
boy,
right.
if you will. I'm sure he's going to get a hell of a reaction. He got a hell of a reaction last year, but he also kind of screwed me last year in Beckley. So I'm looking forward to some comeuppance here, right? I got to kick his ass. I mean, Rhino, God, Rhino's got about 3 good matches left in him, so I'll knock one of those off his list this weekend. But I'm looking forward to knocking these guys on their ass.
Right. And, Heath isn't from Beckley, but he's so close to being from Beckley that it's like he's from Beckley. And I used to actually run a bar in Beckley, and he was the doorman at the bar.
Wow.
That's how I met him way before he was ever a wrestler.
He's one of my best friends. He already texted me, "Man, when you getting in? I'm having a cookout."
Well,
perfect West Virginian thing there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Heath's mother lives in Beckley, and my law partner is married to his stepbrother. So, as we like to say in West Virginia, Myers, it's all relative.
Got it. Loud and clear. Gotcha.
So this is going to be a very big event for Beckley. Steve, I'm so proud of you for pulling a lot of this together with Gary and ASW. This is going to be a big event, and for those of you who may not be able to get to a town out in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia, you can get this online. Stephen Pinu, would you let us know how we can get this?
Yeah, you can stream at aswwv.com. We have set up our own streaming service through a company called Kling, and local media company that Brian Resner and everybody's familiar with called Cucumber and Company. They've got like freaking 4K cameras, and there's going to be a hard cam, 2 roving cams, and we're going to be streaming this in 4K on aswwv.com for $14.95.
And that is the link that you want to use if you are one of those viewers that's nowhere near West Virginia. You could totally check this out and see Brian Myers tag up with the franchise, and also see FTR versus the American Wolves. Talk about a dream match. This match is one for the ages, and you can see it live on the stream, or you can make the trip to West Virginia and climb the mountains and get over there into the Raleigh County Armory, which is now known as the Beckley Convention Center, but it will always be the Raleigh County Armory to me. Yes, that's where they will be this weekend. And Brian, man, it is such an awesome thing to have you here on the show, and we would love to have you back, because right now you're promoting a show that you're going to be doing. But I'd love to do a career interview with you, my man.
Yeah, sure, man. I'm game.
Future.
Anything for Stephen New and Gary Damron. So you tell them to let me know, and I'll be there.
Awesome. Sounds like a party. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are going to put this on the Superior Radio Network YouTube. If you are watching YouTube right now, make sure you click subscribe so you can see videos just like this. And you'll be able to see the video when we talk to Brian Myers more about his career in the professional wrestling world. Stephen P. New, you got anything that you want to leave with?
No, Brian Myers, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but I was just about 8 rows back when you and Cardona won the tag belts at East Rutherford, New Jersey. And I'm at MetLife Stadium. I have never been happier for anybody than I was for you two guys that night. But I will tell you, having you, Shane, Francine taking on Heath and Rhino this weekend, it's a small piece of that. It's a fraction of the crowd, obviously. But I want you to know just how much, as the title sponsor, this means to me and Gary to have you here taking part in this fashion, Beckley, too, man.
Thank you, man. I don't want to miss another one, so count me in.
All right. So I got one last question for you, Brian. If
What's
Shane
that?
Douglas looks at you and says triple threat, Brian Myers, Shane Douglas, who's the third man?
I actually been thinking about this.
Great
I
question.
don't know.
Great question.
I know. I've been thinking about
the
this.
Third man in the triple threat.
I don't know. I think we need a big man because I want to be Candido. Shane is Shane. Right. I've been thinking about this. We need a big guy.
Maybe it's Morrissey.
Who's the big guy?
He's going to be in Beckley.
He Morrissey's. Well, I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Is incredibly tall, wildly tall when he gets, but he doesn't have. I need the girth of a Bam Bam Bigelow. I need someone with some big quads.
Okay, all right.
I got to dig a little deeper. I'm going to find it.
Maybe Super Oprah, Adam.
Super Oprah. There we go.
There we go. That would be a nice
third.
Wow. I'll have to run that by Shane.
It is Pride Month, so I say we put Super Oprah in the triple.
I'm a big Super Oprah fan. Hilarious. I at one point I thought Super Oprah only worked with Hornswoggle because the only time I ever saw them on shows together was facing each other. I was like, "You guys taking this around the horn or what's going on?"
Like Flair Steamboat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you, Brad. I'll see you on the highways and at the airport, man. Looking forward.
Let's do it, baby. You know the deal.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Brian. And we will be back right here on the Superior Radio Network channel. It is the House of Kayfabe. We'll be back. All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much, man. Can we get a voicer from you really quick? Like, this is Brian Myers and you're listening to the House of Kayfabe?
Sure. Just anytime?
Yep.
This is the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, and you're listening to the House of Kayfabe.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate you. And if you don't mind, I will hit you up in the future for a career interview, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All
Thanks.
right.
You're the best, man. I'll see you Saturday.
Good night, guys. I'll see you Saturday. Have a good one.
See ya.
Peace.